FM from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. as we invoke the thought-provoking discussion, tackle the tough questions, challenge assumption, and give a voice to the unheard. This is the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Welcome on board the Morning Express.
Good morning.
You are listening to the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Good morning.
TGIF, thank God it's Friday. Beautiful morning to you. Wherever you're locked on to this frequency. This is Mainland 98.3 FM, known as the sound of Lagos. Good morning to you and happy Friday, the 10th day in the month of April 2026. Welcome on board. This is where we make your morning a very interesting one, better as it can be, even more than it can be actually, as we will at our end, from our end here, keep you abreast and keep you updated on what's going on around us in the country and even outside the country as we peruse the pages of our dailies, major newspapers. We review every morning the Punch newspaper, the Guardian newspaper, the Vanguard newspaper to see what's going on right there, and we also give analyses. We'll see several perspectives to these several issues as we always do every morning, especially with the help of our in-house analysts. Joining us this morning will be Matthew Okodua, will help us to better understand all of these issues we have in our dailies this morning. So you're welcome on board. You can join the live stream on Facebook and YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM. That's the handle, at Mainland 98.3 FM. And you can also listen via Radio Garden. You can listen also via our website, mainlandfm.com. That's www.mainlandfm.com. So wherever you are, you can definitely navigate your way to join the conversation this morning. So you're welcome on board. My name is 𝐴𝐾𝐿 once again. Matthew is on the other side. Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning, Lady Mo. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you? Right. Well, you're welcome on board to Trends in the Papers.
Thank you.
Of course, it is Trends in the Papers on Mainland 98.3 FM, right on Morning Express. Without further ado, because we always have, restricted and limited time every Fridays, let's just kickstart the review and what we have in our dailies. We quickly kickstart with reports we have on the insecurity or efforts to tackle insecurity in the country and the updates we have in our daily. So I'll just take all related security stories together for you to analyze and give us better understanding. Let me start from, as a brigadier general was killed in a fresh Boko Haram attacks in Borno State. According to the reports we're getting, that 4 communities in Borno State, precisely back in Ruwa, Ngwandu, Benin Sheikh, and Puka, bordering Cameroon. Now, a credible military source in Maiduguri said that the multiple attacks, occurred simultaneously in the early hours of Wednesday, targeting communities on the southern EM in Puka and back in Ruwa in Goza local government area, where the insurgents reportedly overran a military base, and several military assets were set ablaze during the attack, while construction equipment even belonging to the Borno State government was also destroyed. And hours later, at about midnight, the insurgents also launched another attack, another coordinated attack on this place, reportedly overran the 29th Task Force Brigade and destroyed multiple military vehicles. And during this attack, the brigade commander of the formation, Brigadier General Brema, was reportedly killed, while leading efforts to defend the base, troops, and civilians in the cries, fallen soldiers in Borno as unforgettable heroes. According to the president, he had to express deep sadness over the loss of the brave soldiers of the 29th Task Force Brigade Operation Hadinkai, who had died in the coordinated terrorist attack on their camp in Borno State. right? That's a response from the presidency, right, expressing deep concern. That's that on that. Also on the insecurity issue, we also getting reports from Kwara State, recall of the attack in several Kwara communities as well. And so a video surfaced online about the Kwara victims begging for rescue. So fresh anxiety, Woro, and neighboring communities in Kaihama local government area, with victims making desperate pleas for government intervention, Matthew. And I think I stumbled on a video of someone making a video. I think it was passing through a community in Kwara State, can't remember the community, and it was saying that everyone there, I mean the community is deserted already. People are no more in that community. They have moved away because of the attacks and reprisal attacks. Matthew, from the Brigadier General, I mean the attacks in Borno State leading to loss of lives of even our military men, to the victims, kidnapped victims that are crying out from their abductors' den, crying out for rescue. What do we do?
Well, thank you one more time for having me. This has become, is the president not try? That's the question we must ask. This issue of this generals being killed now is another problem. And the issue of internal sabotage is another one that's unlikely. When the Brigadier was killed, some feelings, but this one we don't know what happened. There's always a means for us to look inside, to look within what we are doing, so that we do not, give in to insurgency. So that we do not give in to this to give them a kind of we are praising them because they are able to do. Because look at what happened now. But four locations that must 200 kilometers away in the military formation. Why would the other military formations not alerted to be ready? One would have to understand that what we are going through will mean that everybody should be very alert, everybody should be ready at any given time. So when a situation like this, like an attack, is happening in a different location, it's even surprising that other locations in the country, not just one in the northeast, are not aware. So that is what.
How problematic is the situation where we are getting attacks of the people that are supposed, because these generals, they are protecting the communities. They are even the ones started with the responsibility to protect the people, and they are the ones that are being attacked and killed now. How problematic do you think the situation is when the people that are supposed to be protecting, or they are even protecting the communities, are the ones being ambushed and attacked and killed?
The first thing we have to know now is that Nigeria is very demoralizing to the troops, to the fighting forces, So, but what I was trying to say is, we are going to let government look at it. Let's say probe, let's say investigate that something is happening in other army formations within the same locality, 100 kilometers apart, and the rest they are not aware. I'm saying, because they finish in one town, then 200 kilometers they come to another town, or maybe another group started. So, and that also gives us the impression, wrong or rightly, that these insurgents are no more ragtag army, but fully, equipped, fully trained, full of intelligence everywhere. Look at their strategy. They try to do a decoy, they try to do a distraction, they try to do, to distract other locations. So, no more ragtag army. They are fully, professionalized now. So, we should check our own practice against them. That's something.
I don't know what it is.
There's nothing here. Can you want to change the line?
It has stopped. It has stopped now. It's just the sound I'm getting from there. I don't know what's happening. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Land on yourself.
So, it's a brigadier, but then he's also a soldier. He's fighting, which the military authorities should look into. But that the way these insurgents are attacking, they are looking more professional than before. That's my major wahala. And that how can they operate like that simultaneously in 4 locations, and other locations are not alerted to be ready? And does it also mean that our men will be just sleep like that? Our strategies, our tactics, so that we don't start losing men like this, whether officers and men, we don't start losing them like that. You know, that we are overwhelmed is not that's overstating the obvious. Where the army, Nigerian army, is quite overwhelmed. Then two, we also look at the internal sabotage. People there might be moves, and that is the fifth column. So the insurgent might have some their informants within the Nigerian army that are telling them where we are going, how we are moving. They should also look at that. And three is that these people are sponsored. You know, they are sponsored. If I quote, you know, they are our prodigal sons. You know, if we treat them like prodigal sons, or they are our brothers, they are cousins, they need to be brought in. Okay, now this is your prodigal son killing your generals. These are your cousins, your brothers killing your generals. These people by now it's very clear to all that they don't mean well for Nigeria. So you should treat them like that.
So
then going to the
so, to the Kwara victims, what happens to them?
What is that?
The Kwara victims, kidnapped victims.
Yeah, that one. I'll go to the Kwara one. You know, the Kwara one too. You know, it's laughable. You know, when you are dealing with people, you are dealing with children. This people were kidnapped last time. Another one kidnapped. That one I heard they head them into the forest, and the Kwara state government told us they were something smaller, and the number was smaller. And what do we have now? We are not having, you know, the true state of things. That even the one that you pay ransom for, we are not all that we are there. And these soldiers are mocking at us. They said you are like this. How many are you here? You know, all those things are laughable. And the government situation right now is like the worst level ever. Worst ever. This government makes insecurity on ground. There's no doubt about that. But they said they were going to face it head on. But it has been failure. With their eyes, within their own eyes, in their own presence, the thing is going higher and higher. So what do we do? Do we keep praying, or we take action? I think the government need to actually reevaluate their approach to it.
All right. Thank you for that. Still on the insecurity issue, there's another report here from the Guardian newspaper, a statement credited to a cleric members into the Nigerian army, you know, describing it as a dangerous move that could worsen insecurity in the country. He's actually the deputy chairman, Akwa Ibom State Territory, and the field superintendent of Apostolic Church Nigeria, identifying and, you know, removing personnel allegedly collaborating with bandits, like you mentioned, and other criminal elements. According to him, he's saying that the worst thing that has happened to the nation's security architecture is the recruitment of, you know, so-called repentant bandits into the Nigerian army. And I think I recall a statement credited to, is it the minister of defense now? I can't really remember who exactly, or chief of army staff. I can't really remember. He was talking about the Adinkai operation, and especially the call and the agitation about, you know, recruiting these people into the army. And then I think he was trying to debunk that's not what it is. That they definitely would take them in. There are so many processes to it. You know, they'll check through. They are just processes. I can't really remember, but I think they are
service personnel to the fighting troops of the enemies. They are crews. That's what they say. That category would be integrated.
Right. Well, that's your thought about what the cleric had mentioned.
Yeah, you see, the idea of there are two things now. One is to integrate them into the society, and number two is to release them into the Nigerian army. Those are two things that worried us. You integrate them into the society, you debrief them from whatever they would have gone through in the camp of the. That's a different ballgame entirely, you know. So what should have happened is, I cannot see, for instance, that is looking at it from the military point of view now, that 1,000 soldiers, surrendered. You just kill all of them like that. No, it's not possible. So what are you going to do with them? You debrief them and integrate them into the society. Let them be into the army. I think that is unnecessary. It's not good enough for us.
All right. Thank you. Still trends in the papers on Mail and Night. You can also listen via Radio Garden and our website www.mailandfm.com. We also have Matthew Okodua on the other side as well, helping us out with understanding these several issues. Quickly, let's talk about the U.S., especially the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria. Right. So the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria, Abuja to be precise, suspend visa appointments. The U.S. mission in Nigeria, they announced this yesterday, directing applicants to check their emails for rescheduled dates. And the U.S. Embassy Abuja is closed for visa appointments. Applicants requested or asked to check their email for details on rescheduled appointments. And the visa operations at the U.S. Consulate General in Lagos will continue unaffected, adding that the American Citizen Services remain available in emergencies and by appointment. Right. Of course, this is coming as the embassy is facing ongoing security, and other risk, prompting temporary closure for routine business in previous instances. And of course, the Nigerian government is not just folding their arms, but they are insisting that Nigeria is safe, even as the U.S. is pulling embassy officials out. And so the federal government, of course, in the response space, reassured Nigerians and the international community that the country remains safe for residents and visitors, even as the U.S. had ordered the evacuation of non-emergency staff.
The government will always say Nigeria is safe, because if they say Nigeria is not safe, that admits failure. But between you and me, you know that Nigeria is not safe. Nigeria is not safe. Movement from one city to the other, you have to do it. Shows that the way the Nigerian government treats her citizens is not the same way the American government treats her own citizens. They are very interested in the safety and welfare of by hook or by crook. People are going to join our party, how we are going to bring down the opposition. That's our focus. We are no longer focusing on people. Now, in Nigeria, it's southwest and most probably Lagos. Ogun State here is not even as safe as that. So how can you say we are safe when you have almost 90% of your territory, unsafe? They are not safe. So let's not deny it. All the government should do is to look at the U.S. travel advisory and see what areas they are talking about so they can come in. They are not safe at all. They are not safe. They are safe. So that is it. So let's look at what is American, what did they discover, what did they know that we don't know.
Political space and what's happening, especially the opposition. I mean, that's the current issue we are facing, especially towards the 2027 elections. We had the protesting also protesting from the ADC, and also the faction of David Mark had also gone to court for reversal of the delisting of their National Working High Court in Abuja to reverse the decision of INEC that de-recognized it as the leadership of the party. Of course, the electoral umpire, cited ruling of the appellate court in April 1, officially removing the names of Mark, and that's the national chairman, and Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, national secretary of the ADC, from its official. From Kwara ADC, that's the Kwara State chapter of the ADC, had mentioned that its chairman, that's Prince Adebayo Akadi, remains firmly in control of the party structure in the state. Amid Ong Secretary Ibrahim Alfa and the Kwara State chairman, Prince Adebayo, remains a committed and recognized leader of the party in the state. That's according to the Kwara State chapter of the African Democratic Congress. But according to Punch newspaper, saying that the leadership that is especially rocking the ADC at the moment, is showing no sign of abating, as definitely the internal crisis and the internal wrangling and legal hurdles have even stalled the state congress scheduled for Saturday, April 11, 2026. But the simple question is, do you think, I think you've earlier mentioned or ascertained the fact that they will not be missing on the ballot. They are facing now, they are still going to get over it before we are working with time, especially with our timetable, the INEC timetable towards the next election.
there's a little I will say about it now, but to say I praise the David Mark people who have gone to court. You understand? So whether it's Rashid Gombe, whether it's David Mark, whether it is INEC, the hand that is touching everywhere is well known. That you see Tinubu and one giant and so many Lilliput. No, it's not going to be like that. ABC is contesting this election. There's no good point about it. Because otherwise, if you know what it emanates from the status of Nigeria, from the image of Nigeria, you don't know what it is. Even at a point, I just told you they are going to, that the ruling party is just doing this to unsettle the parties. At the end of the day, their name will be on the box. Remember some few years ago in Ondo State, when some Dr. Jᴏɪᴜ and the rest of them, the court eventually released them about 3 days to the court. Let's leave the rest of the court to do. Yes. What I'm saying in effect is that at the end of the day, reason will prevail. You say that, so if we allow this thing to go on like this without a standard flag there of any party against the image of Nigeria internationally will be so rubbish, will be so dented that, go, because in the court now, and no matter what we say here, it doesn't matter again. Let the court decide.
Well, and also about the allegation of the ruling party, most especially trying to frustrate the opposition and not allowing the opposition to thrive, so to say. I want us to quickly consider the statement of two credible personality in the country. First is Olabode George, warning that the ruling party, that's the APC, and INEC may destroy Nigeria's democracy. He was saying this, that actions and utterances that are coming from APC and even INEC in recent weeks show that they don't want any other presidential candidates in 2027 aside from President Bola Tinubu. And according to him, that and they are ready to destroy all democratic fundamentals, tenets, and ethos to have their way at all costs.
It's not that they are ready. They have a democracy. We don't have a democracy. We just have a system where you have parties, and one party has decided that no other party that can challenge him, seriously, should be allowed to grow. So what Bode George is saying, yes, but what I wanted him to say was that they are not destroyed, they have destroyed it. All the institutions. He said the Supreme Court, yes, by rule, their judgment is the last one. Everybody must abide by it. But then they seem to look at it that the members of the public do not trust them. Any judgment that does not, attract the trust of members of the public, of Nigerians, whether they are satisfied. You give a judgment and they say, so. Those kind of comments that nobody is excited about your judgment. So we have known that they have colonized our neck, they have colonized the judiciary. In fact, one thing I'm always this way, members of the public have not detected. And that is why someone was wondering, you've got 32 governors who are still afraid. They have to be afraid because those 32 governors, they have one vote each, that's just 32 votes. It's not enough for them. Look at this security. You know, people be clapping for you. They will not be clapping for you. So many things, hunger everywhere. So members of the public are not satisfied. So that's why they are afraid. So they have succeeded in expect good things from those people. So they have destroyed. They know that they are attempting. They have.
Well, that being said, speaking about how then moving forward, because some school of thought will say, the people, the political bigwigs, the political players, the ones that are saddled with the responsibility to make sure that Olusegun Obasanjo, yesterday at the 6th annual colloquium to mark the 65th birthday of the founder of Trinity Church, Pastor Ito Agodalu, was actually represented by the Deputy Chief Executive Olusegun Obasanjo Leadership Institute, Professor Adedeji Daramola, and that meaningful progress will remain elusive unless we citizens unite to address national challenges, right? And he also emphasized and stressed that nation building is a shared duty that cuts across all segments of society. Do you align with this thought?
There are people who have power. If they don't allow us, they don't allow the citizens will not be able to unite. Look at what Mr. said during their protest. Former governor, what he said, that if we allow them, that is, if members of the public allow them, if members of the public allow them, so how can we be united? Somebody has to unite us. Somebody will give us, a no. So okay, go ahead, and as members of the public, we have to be encouraged. We have to be, recognize that we can change, we can make a change. Then we will contribute. But the way Nigerians are being treated, it will be difficult for us to do that, except, and it's very hard. It is now. They have, as we have put it now, they have institutionalized poverty. They have everybody is looking for what to eat, what to do. It's difficult to unite now at this level. It's very difficult. Except we have a free and fair election, we can unite and change a government we don't want. Then we can move over. As it is now, everybody is on the heels, running for hectare, looking for what to do.
Well, thank you. Trends in the papers today is just quickly before we call it a morning. Matthew, poverty in Nigeria has risen to 63%. That we're going to be having a one-digit figure when it comes to inflation. But despite that, poverty has risen to 63%, indicating the limited impacts of recent macroeconomic improvements on, households' welfare, according to the World Bank. And the bank had disclosed that they disclosed that Nigerians living below the poverty line had increased from 56%, that was in 2023, to 61% in 2024, before peaking at 63% in 2025. Matthew, and I'm seeing the Vanguard newspaper is saying alarm, cutthroat rent hikes worsening Nigeria's housing crisis. I just want to bring it together that across many towns and cities in Nigeria, a quiet but alarming housing crisis is taking hold, one that is forcing families to relocate, to downgrade their living conditions, or even sink into death. Matthew,
you see, you look at statistics not from figures on the newspapers. You look at statistics from what you have on ground.
Statistics versus reality.
The reality, yes. If you look at that World Bank report, you find out that all the stories are there. MBS said this, this one said this. But come to Lagos, for instance. Go to Edo, for instance. Go to Akwa Ibom, for instance. Level in Nigeria is increasing. It's increasing. Nigeria was the poverty capital before, and I think what happened now, do we call it capital again, or the poverty region of the world? That no. The only people that are not poor are the people in government and their cronies that are not poor in Nigeria. If you are far away, if you are far away from any government official, if you are not in government or anything, then the church is still in poverty. I don't know the next police. People are changing location, people are changing environments. What are the options there? It's no more function. That the real middleman, the really peasant that use agriculture as a means of livelihood, they no longer have access to it. So what is the problem? So that is it. We are poor. We need somebody which remove us. We need a deliverer, we need a savior, we need a Messiah that will remove us from this poverty level.
When you talk about the statistics versus reality, the first question that comes to my mind is, what then is the indices they use to land on the figures that they come up with? I mean, what is the survey that shows or that affirms the statistics that we're getting? Anyway, just quickly, even the health sector is bleeding, according to the WHO, saying that the next pandemic could even be closer than we think, as 800 health centers unite, largest global health networks ever assembled to confront such threat, that we're still going to be having a very serious problem in the health sector. But just quickly, because of our time, we have to mainland focus. Keep it locked to Mainland 98.3 FM. Good morning.